turned it off. I'm having, okay. I turned it off. Hello.
I think you have another page open.
Didn't this happen on Friday when I was reading with you and Purple Elephant Deb H?
Oh,
hi, everybody.
gosh.
Welcome to my first ever live.
It happens to the best of us. Somehow that little mute button comes unmuted somehow.
Yes, and I actually had two windows open. So everyone, please welcome SunPsychic Jean to this casual. And I have been given permission to refer to her as Her Highness for the duration of this live. You are not required to do that, however.
Why not, right? No, I mean, you wear that crown, man. I want one of those crowns. I definitely, and your guards next to you. I mean, King Arthur, here I come, right?
There you go.
My gosh.
There you go. Well, sometimes I'm pretty sure crowns are just a way to hide a bad hair day.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, that's sometimes what I think happens. So, and, Jeffrey, the voice of Jeffrey says it's a medieval bald cap. Ball cap. It's a medieval ball cap.
Oh,
Sorry.
okay.
Sorry. Oh my goodness. So, everybody, seriously, all of Jean's links are below, including your website. So if people are interested in finding out more about you, perhaps booking some time with you, they can do that there. And also your channel is linked below. So, all right, let's say hi. Viviani is here. Hello.
Hey, Viviani.
Linda Day Gonzalez is here. Hello. White Wolf mother is actually having coffee and strawberries. I'm like,
sounds delicious.
Yum. And Plucky Heroine is here. Hi, Plucky. And let's see. All right. Tortoiseshell Moon, Kathy is here. Hello. Hi, Kathy. And this is Jean's website. So there's that. And Pia's Life is here. Hello. The lives are popping today. Yeah, there are a lot of lives. I think it's great. Oh, there you go.
Hey, Deb. How are you? Blowing you kisses.
Speak Deb's name, and she appears. That was a really wonderful reading time with the two of you.
Aww.
On Friday. I was actually explaining to Jeffrey, I was just like going, sometimes when I read with people, there's this connection or this weaving of the energies and the vibrations, and it just sort of tunes everything in and turns up the volume. So
it really does. It helps amplify, and that's with the girls that I read with as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And Pia's Life, hello. Did I say hi to Pia? And Lark Kemper, hello.
Oh. He's from my channel. So thanks for coming over, Lark. I put it in my community tab.
Mm-hmm. Good to see you, Lark. Nice to see you. And this is Medium Betsy Palmer.
Hi, Betsy. I feel like I know half the people here because I watch your show. I watch it after the lives.
Yeah, and Betsy and I have done multiple things together. We have done Laugh and Learns. We've done readings together, and it's been wonderful. And Andrea 54 Hector is here. Hello, good to have you here. Valerie S is here, and
I love the crown, Val.
Yeah, isn't that good? Well, Your Highness,
she slipped that little crown in there.
Well, yeah, that's cool. Samantha and Kelly is here from Dozen Cats Wellness.
Hi, Kelly. Nice to see you.
Good to see you. And Kelly and I have something planned in June, at least one thing. That's nice. And There you go. And Michelle Marie Astrological Tarot is here, so it's good to see you. And
I've
there.
heard a lot about Michelle Marie. She's fabulous.
Oh yes, yes, yeah. Linda is right. Synergy.
Oh,
Exactly.
perfect.
Callie Healer is here.
I know Callie. Hi,
Yep,
Callie. Nice to see you.
yep. Um, oh yeah. Michelle Marie loves the giant stash.
Oh,
So
great.
I did not stitch that myself. So one of the viewers let me know that it was available, and so I made it happen because I'm like on. How can I not have that? And it looks like my Wi-Fi is low, so if I
Mm-hmm.
disappear for a while, sorry. It's been happening. Rochelle is here,
Hello.
and Amanda, love it.
Hi.
Okay, so many wonderful people. Thank you. Uh thank you, Pia's Life. And I'm gonna see
Oh, thank you, Pia's life. And I know Pia too because she comes on and talks so much, but you don't know me. So this is your opportunity to learn a little bit about me because I watch, and I hear all of this,
Oh
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And
Mhm.
Maruda is here, so it's great to see you. And Beth Aspasia Rising is here. So Jean, how long have you had your YouTube channel?
I think it's maybe coming up on 2 years.
Excellent,
Mm-hmm.
excellent.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were talking, everybody. We were talking backstage about her spiritual experience, her psychic journey. So, would you be willing to share with everybody about your journey to what brought you to where you are today?
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm going to be looking over here only because I have a few notes written down.
Of
Um,
course.
um, it started back when I used to work for a chiropractor, and the chiropractor was remodeling the office. And when he
Mhm,
was remodeling the office, he hired a feng shui practitioner to come in
mhm,
and to do some remedies and decorating and placements of the flow of the office. And I was there before the office was remodeled. We worked in it, and then we left for, I guess we closed for a week. And then when we went back in, I was like, whoa, like I could feel the difference, the flow of the energy. And
Oh,
and that was my first thing. And I was just obsessed after that. I wanted to find everything out I could possibly find out about feng shui. And if anybody doesn't know, it's just the placement of the basically mainly it's the placement of your home and the furniture and the things in your home in order to help the energy flow. And I have my feng shui remedies right over here. This is for my career. This is at the front of my house, and I have a picture of a waterfall. I used to have a fountain there, but it
uh-huh.
you kept on having to fix it and clean it. So if you just get a picture of a fountain, that works too, and you point it inwards, so your career flow, the flow of your career and the energy of your career is coming back to you and not going out the front door. So
I
I
love that.
and I have crystals throughout my house, and I have two of everything for coupling for a good relationship,
Mhm.
and so many others. I have a mirror. If you have, like, when you're at your kitchen sink and you're not looking out of a window, if you're looking at a wall or cabinets or something, you put a mirror or something with reflection so that you can see behind you. There's so many different remedies. It was a lot of fun, but
And what's wonderful about those, your highness, is they give you the ability to adjust the energy a little bit. You were sensitive and you could tell that something big happened here. And it's one of those things that I really think those small changes really they can do wonders, because one small change makes the next one clearer what you need to do.
yep.
and
It
clearer. So
reveals the next. You're right. Uncovers it.
yes, and I have to post this because Deb H said, "Ooh, she came prepared." So I have to say, she is definitely an overachiever,
Maybe just a little.
maybe, and it's amazing. So, did you study feng shui then?
I just really, got into it and, practiced things and read books and, I just really was immersed into it for a couple of years. And then something unusual happened to me. I had a ghost in my house.
Oh,
And mhm, mhm. I
okay.
bought a house. It was my first house that I bought by myself. And when I was single, and there was a ghost in the house. And that was one of the most, it's life-changing experience. And it's a really long story, but I kept having a feeling. I kept feeling like somebody was watching me. I never felt like I was alone. People would say they would see things out of the corner of their eye. And
Mm-hmm.
then I was woken up by I was sleeping one night and I woke up. I heard a radio playing really loud, and I looked over and it looked like it was coming from the clock, but I don't have a radio on my clock. There was no radio, not even on my clock, let alone on.
Oh, wow.
So I kept getting woken up and I wasn't able to sleep through the night. And I kept feeling like somebody was in the room and I kept hearing somebody breathe. And I said, it sounds weird. If it's a ghost, why would they be breathing? Because if they're dead, don't have breath. But he was standing beside my bed as I was sleeping and he was breathing over me and I could hear him breathing. So this went on for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, and I thought I was having a nervous breakdown. And most of my family thought so too.
Okay.
Until one night I actually saw him. I saw him. He was actually, yeah.
Yeah.
it,
Betsy works with those, the ghosts.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually saw him. He was actually laying in the bed beside me, and he sat up from the bed and turned up to the side, put his feet on the floor, stood up from the side of the bed, and turned to walk towards the bathroom. And I let out a sound that I never heard before in my life. It was such a blood curdling, like, groan or cry out of my, it came from the depths of me, the fear that was coming out of me. And so after I saw him, people were like, oh, must have been you ate ice cream or something. And I'm like, no, he was there. So my little sister came over and said, I'm going to take care of this. Where's this, man that you saw? So she came and slept over. She got in the bed with me. She goes, come on, let's go. We're going to bed. Let's go to sleep. Middle of
Mhm.
the night, she elbows me. She says, Jean, he's here. I'm like, I know. And she said, he's sitting on my feet. I said, I know. And we started screaming. We started trying to put on the flashlight and the lights and the radio and the TV. And she's like, we got to get rid of this guy. So, yeah, yeah. And
So,
mhm.
were you able to get rid of him or move him on?
I did hire a medium, believe it or not, and
Oh.
she helped him to cross over.
Hmm.
And as he was moving towards the light, he stopped and turned around and said, "Tell Jean I said thank you." And mhm, and he thought I was his wife. He was looking. He had crossed
Oh.
over before his wife, and he thought I was his wife. And he was watching over me, sleeping, and he was waiting for me, like he was looking for his wife to so that they could both cross over. But she had long since crossed over, from
Oh.
what the medium said. And the uncanny thing, if that wasn't uncanny enough, but like several weeks later, I met my husband. And I think that it has something to do, one has to do with the other. I really do think so.
That doesn't surprise me. I have to say, I've looked over at Jeffrey as you were telling this story, and we're both like, Okay, and I got goose flesh all over, which is one of my signs of is like I think it's a beautiful thing that he was crossing over and it's like tell Gene thank you. And because his view was he was protecting you and he was waiting. And that's so beautiful. Now it's beautiful looking back at it. But
Right.
then scary AF. So
Yeah, and I think that really just broke me open. I mean, I knew that there was, I mean, obviously, if you see it with your own eyes, there's no doubt. So,
mhm,
yeah.
yeah. And Jackie Jacaranda is here, and Jackie's like, wow. And yes, some amazing synchronicity. And yeah, and Deb H says, how sad that he missed her. Then you met your husband. That's amazing. I mean,
Yep.
it's great. It's great. I want to get caught up in chat a little bit because I have and yes, she came prepared, her highness did. Uh, and Michelle Marie has posted your YouTube.
Oh, thank
Um,
you.
and Kathy, Tortoiseshell Moon said, I'll have to read more into feng shui. It's never been part of my practice, but it does sound fascinating. It could really help with the stagnant energy in my home. It's exactly what it will do. It's
Yeah.
exactly what it'll do. Do you I remember okay, I'm gonna go off on a little tangent. The first book that I read about feng shui was Clear Your Clutter with Feng Shui. And the practitioner had similar experiences that you had, Jean, where somebody came in and cleared out all of the energy, and she walked in and she's like, "What just happened?" And so she developed a relationship with the teacher because of that, and
Oh,
it's like, woo, and yeah. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah, great conversations. I love this. Best chatters ever. Um, and Andrea is here. Oh, and Beth said, I have had two ghosts at different times in my house. The first one was next to my bed and sat upright and yelled. Oh, I sat upright and yelled, get out, and it left. I kind of regret my response though. And the second was dressed like a cowboy and just walked through one of my walls, like my house was on his way on his path in his way on the path.
wow.
So, okay, so first of all, thank you everybody for joining. I am, for those of you who don't know, this is SunPsychic Jean. I am allowed to call her Her Highness today. I'm going to keep saying that. She's going to totally regret and never invite me. Um, but we're sharing some stories. We're learning about Jean's experiences, and Bims is here. Ah, Ms. Tarot D is here. Good to
Hi,
see
Mr.
you.
Reddy. Hi.
And lovely chat. So um, and okay, so that opened you up, and then what?
Wow. That's so the next thing, what I started doing is getting into crystals. And because of the energy that I felt with the feng shui and the experience that I had and the energies that I felt in my house, I also had an experience with supine paralyzation, like sleep paralysis is what they
Okay.
call it,
Hmm.
and knew that there was a being there while I was, in that state. I really got heavily into crystals and just started some crystal healing with
Oh,
these. And I really love learning about the properties. And again, it's about subtle energy, the
mhm.
very slow down energy, but very potent, very medicinal type, where, just very healing. I hate to call it medicinal because that's so pharmaceutical, but some very healing types of energy and vibration. And this is what I'm so sensitive to. I'm clairsentient, and now I know that. But all of these things were leading me towards this because I felt this. I felt these. After the crystal healing class, I did Reiki, and I was so enthralled with Reiki. I did all three levels like in a
Mhm.
year and a half, and was,
Wow.
I
That's
mean,
that's quick, isn't it?
I could feel my like they were going in, and I could feel my skin almost separate when they were going in to heal. I mean, and I'm like, I've got to do this. I
Yeah.
mean, why isn't everybody doing this? Like, it's it it was one revelation after another. So,
I
and
love that. And I also I want to appreciate your openness and your willingness to have that to be able to see it like that, because a lot of times that could have just completely shut you down, or sometimes it would shut people down. So that's incredible. There was a question from Beth and Jean. Did you say if you still live in that same house?
no,
Okay.
no, I don't live there anymore. And yeah.
By Pia's life. So, um, so you, I also like crystals. I have some affinity for crystals because for me, in my practice, they're a great way to amplify the energy and to help transmute it, if that's the right word, and to elevate it. And in fact, and that's why I'm wearing this. I was like going, I should have had this out. I wear blue lace agate
Mm,
on a chain around my neck because it helps me with my communication.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's so incredible.
I have a favorite turquoise of mine that you see me wear a lot for my communication, and I have or I don't know, is this Oregonite or something like that, and it has the copper and the generator in it. You really can't see
Oh
the
wow,
spiral. There's like a spiral in there,
I
copper
love that.
spiral, and then the generator, and then the flower of life in there. But this citrine is really very powerful for me, and I keep it here. But I have all different kinds, all different shapes and sizes, and these fluorite is one of my favorite ones, and this one I need it. I was walking. I keep a lot of these in my dressing room where I do my makeup and stuff. And I was walking out the door, and I was sort of like burnt out because work was really busy. And this called to me, and I kind of stopped in my tracks. And I turned around and looked, and I said, "You're coming with me." So I took them and I put them right in here all day long. And
Nice.
I mean, it really helped calm me. It really helped center me. It really helped to just smooth out that burnout kind of feeling. And I remember the day. I remember the day. I really needed it. So
Love
yeah, my crystals really speak to me. And if you tune into that subtle energy, it's out there for us. It really is.
Yeah, I think so. And Lisa said being medium has great benefits, but it's also scary. It can certain is it not scary for you?
Not for me.
I love it. I love it.
No, I mean, yeah, we are all, uh, you know, divine beings of light. Um, the good, the bad, the ugly. We're all divine beings of light, and there's nothing to be afraid of.
Well, and I think I understand what Lisa is saying, because when we don't understand what it is and how it works, it's difficult to understand.
That's
And
true.
so I understand that. And medium Betsy Palmer has a great way of saying, she says, you are gifted. This is a gift. And when you have these when you are aware that you have these talents, and it's a thing that I do. I like to see these things that make me unique as talents. They're not deficiencies. They are,
Hmm.
they're different. Yes, they are my talents. They're what makes me unique. So I completely understand that. Um, oh, look at that. Amanda Carroll. Really enjoy your show, Jean. Great to learn more about you too.
Aw, thank you, Amanda. That's sweet.
Love that. Um, and just beautiful chat. Thank you. Oh, Amanda is wearing my flower of life too.
Oh, nice.
So, oh, and medium Betsy Palmer said no such thing as enough crystals. Yeah, and Beth said citrine is my favorite. So,
Hmm.
and yes, there's a lot of love for your was it is the your citrine generator. I want to.
Well, it's a pyramid and it has a generator inside. If you look inside, it's got a copper wrapped, and they call anything in this could be a generator, anything in this shape that it generates, and it pulls the energy down into the copper wire,
Sure,
into the flower of life, and then into the other citrine. It's it's like encased in this resin, and see
that's
that gold disc is a flower of life, and then it's wrapped. See how it's wrapped in the coil. There's
yes.
a crystal that's wrapped in the coil, and the crystal is what I call the generator, and that's what you call it when you, yeah,
I love that.
um, yeah,
I
and
love
then
that.
yeah, it's just one of my favorite things. Sometimes you buy things and you put it down and you say, "Wasn't that pretty?" And then sometimes you buy things and you carry it with you everywhere you go.
Yeah, yeah. Betsy said, "You're not crazy. You are gifted." Um, Beth said, "Jean, I find the scary part is when I take the plunge and say what I see. It's freeing, but it's a bit like hand gliding." Yeah,
Yes, that's bravery. Yeah, it takes a lot of bravery. It takes a lot of courage to say, especially, I don't know if you saw one of my shows. I have a pink dragon on one of my shows. Right out of the box, the very first question, the very first person, and they wanted a reading. And I go like this, and the first thing I see is a dragon. And I'm like, am I going to, the first thing I say is, I see you flying on a dragon. They don't even, I'm like, but that's what I saw. And she said, "You're right." She said, "I've been playing with the elementals since I was a kid, and I have dreams all the time. I write stories all the time." And I was like, "You're kidding." And
yeah,
I'm like, "I saw the dragon, but I didn't know you knew about it."
yeah. I love that. I love that.
So it
So
does take courage. Yeah.
I like that courage and strength and a sense of curiosity and wonder is something that I absolutely love because sometimes it just takes us to go, well, what's behind that? What's behind that door? What's behind door number one? Let's see. So Callie Healer says I surround myself with crystals outside and inside of my front door. Clear everyone's energy before they enter my house. Yeah, yeah. And when I was working, I had crystal grids all over my cubicle. And it was one of those things that most of them were hidden. There were a couple that I had set up to where they could be seen. And no one made the mistake of trying to touch them because that they wouldn't have lasted. So, hi, Wiki. Good to see you. Good to see you. So, um, but yeah. Okay, just and yeah, sometimes I have to be careful when I go into places with crystals because I hear too many of them wanting to come home with me.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
It's really beautiful, and it's nice, you pick up one or two every now and then.
yep,
Mhm.
yeah,
I mostly got into it when I did the Reiki healing.
mm,
Got into the crystal healing as well.
uh-huh,
Um, and that's where I first learned how to use a pendulum as well. I was talking to Gerald about that, and I told him that this is one of my favorite tools is, and during our Reiki training, our teacher got us all tea bags, and you pull it out and you have the little square paper part here, and
mhm,
then it wasn't wet, it was a dry tea bag, and he was showing us how to, feel the energy and concentrate and focus. And this tea bag was absolutely still. And a tea bag is like featherweight. Like I have this one. This one's kind of heavy because it's solid
Uh-huh.
brass. But if you have something that's lighter, it's hard to move something that's lighter, believe it or not. It's hard to make it swing. And
Hmm.
I'm telling you, I had my eyes peeled on that thing, and it was a perfect still. And it all of a sudden, like, what I mean, I saw it like go,
Yeah.
and I was like, I couldn't believe it moved. So that was I could never forget my first experience with the pendulum. It was a tea bag. So anybody have a tea bag, you can practice.
I think that's great. And yeah. And what I really appreciate about what you're saying is there's so many different ways that we learn, and we we add tools to our toolkit. It's another paint with my paint brushes that I go through with life. We have had some more people show up. Everybody, this is SunPsychic Jean, just so that for those of you who may not know, and let me get caught up with that because and Andrea, I have a couple of things. Julia Kushia Watts is here. Hello. Linda Kelzer is here. Hello. And Peter J. Watts is here. Good to see all of you.
Wow.
And okay, okay. Are other light workers experiencing memories from past experiences? It feels like they are patchwork pieces of a lifetime of experiences, and now energy is stitching the individual experiences. Um, may I answer that, Jane? Do you mind?
Yeah, please do.
The short answer is yes. The longer answer of that is that's a beautiful way of describing part of what, in my opinion, people call it leveling up. We're raising the vibration, and when we raise the vibration, it's like taking it's like washing the window of our car so we can see clearer. And then we travel a little bit more, we pause, we slow down, and then we get the squeegee out again. And all of us, I'm a firm believer that if anyone does a little bit of their work, it benefits all of us.
Absolutely.
So it's like, did you have anything you wanted to add to that? I sort of got, oh, here, props king. I got on my soapbox about that one and just ran with it.
Well, I love that my guides tell me that it's not just light workers; it's everybody. With the frequency is raising on the Earth, uh, and what this is allowing us to do, our frequency is raising, and what this is allowing us to do is our past lives are bleeding through our soul's vibration. So our
Mm.
soul's vibration that we carry in each and every one of us, each and every one of you, has a vibration of all the lives that you lived. And your past lives can bleed through this soul's vibration. You have access to those resources, those lessons, those experiences that you've had in past lives. That's why I'm sitting here with French provincial furniture in my kitchen, in my dining area, because I must have lived in France for quite a while in a
Mhm.
different life. And there's so many different things like that you're attracted to or you have an affinity to that just is unexplainable. And I have some uh, Asian deities and Hindu gods and things like this. Now, that is spiritual, but it's also a resonance of your past life. But when they told me that our past lives are bleeding through our soul's vibration as a resource for all of us, that
Ooh,
was incredible.
yeah. Deb said it's the 100 monkey story. It becomes a collective consciousness.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, and okay, more people have come in, so I've completely lost track of the chat because hashtag best chatters. Steve O.
Hi,
Uh,
Steve. Steve is my neighbor. He's
oh,
Yeah, he's up the street. Yeah, not up the street, but he's in
yeah,
the town. He's in the town next to me.
I love it. And yes, congratulations on your mom's 97th
Oh
birthday.
my gosh. Wow.
Many,
Tell her
many
happy
happy returns.
birthday. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah, we are all creators. I agree. And that's great. Okay, so thank you, Gina. Thanks for the mods for putting in the links. I also have the link to Jean's website. So if you're curious, you want to find out more about Jean, want some one-on-one time, if it feels good to do that, you've got the connection. So oh, and Valerie S said, wow, that's a great tip. Thank you, Your Highness.
Thanks, Val. You're welcome.
So and Andrea also asked, Jean, do you have items, crystals, etc., that come to you and you know you're supposed to hold the item for the person it's meant to go to, even if you don't know yet?
I haven't had that knowing yet.
Okay.
I do
I
give a lot of things away, especially bracelets to my nieces. I usually have all the crystal bracelets and stuff on, and my nieces are like, "Ooh, Auntie," and I'm like, "Okay."
Here you go. Yeah. Yeah. Um, Rachel asked, I'd love to learn more about using a pendulum. Any recommendations? Do you have any recommendations on learning how to use a pendulum?
Um, there are really good website or YouTube videos out there, and I did watch one recently, um, just to see what their point of view is, and really, it's I don't know. I think you evolve with it. I think you get the basics, you use it for a while, you get to feel it for a while, and then you can go into things a little more complicated. But it's really important to feel your pendulum. And some pendulums don't work as well as other pendulums. So if you don't feel your affinity and you don't
Mm.
feel that it's understanding you or that you're not getting any response, just move on to another one because not everyone is the right one for you. It's very energetic.
I agree. And as with any tool, sometimes it takes a moment or two or even longer to get to know how that you work with that tool. And it's like I'll do the example of is it's like when a Phillips head screwdriver is one thing, but a Phillips head screwdriver drill bit and a drill, same thing, but a different level of tool. And so it's just one of those things that it works nicely. And Linda suggested sleep with the pendulum under your pillow. It helps to get to know each other energetically.
You do. You have to calibrate with it, and you have to slow down to it, and you have to acclimate to it. And somebody else said, keep it in your bra or keep it close to you, to your heart on your skin, and just carry it around with you and kind of calibrate with it, especially if it's a crystal.
Yeah. And I would also say, oh, and Beth said, I don't want to purchase a pendulum online. I want to feel it and vibe with it. I understand that. I think the big thing for me, and to support what you were saying, Jean, is there's a lot of information out there, especially on YouTube. Some of that information sounds really good and works with your energy and it makes sense to you. Other times it's like, maybe not. Stick with what is getting your curiosity and your interest. And then apply what you're learning so that you can have your own experiences with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There is not like an instruction booklet. There is a suggestion, a field of suggestions, and you can try different things and see what works best for you. And let me just blow out this candle. It's getting out of hand.
Uh-oh. We raised
You know
energy.
how when the wick gets really long and there's a whole big bonfire in here now. And yeah, you kind of find what works for you, and different people, the swing is different for different people, like
Absolutely. Yeah.
and sometimes my swing is entirely opposite to somebody else's swing, and
Yep.
it just is what it means for you, and you ask it and you calibrate it. I always ask my pendulum, and my 7 feet tall, I always ask my pendulum, is now a right time for me to ask, is now a good time for me to ask questions? And I always say, is my first name Jean? So I can get a yes, I can get a no. And then, if you want to know, if eggs are better or oatmeal's better, and then if it says oatmeal's better, so then you want to ask, is uh is is oatmeal not good? Like, you want to ask the opposite of what it said yes to, and just to double check. And it's really important, the phrasing that you use, and the certainty, the directness of the question is really important.
That is well said. I think it's also important for me. This is where I struggle with pendulum is sometimes what I say out loud is different than what I'm thinking.
Yep.
And the pendulum will answer what I'm thinking and not what I'm saying out loud. So don't wander around. This is my high priestess has actually said, don't hold a pendulum out talking to people because you're going to be able to tell whether or not they're lying. So it's very funny. And Sherry H, Voices from the Swamp, is
Hey,
here.
Sherry.
Good to see you. Oh, and this is an interesting idea. How about an interview spread for your pendulum with tarot cards?
Oh,
That's an interesting idea, Betsy. I could totally see me doing that because some of you may know I'm an overcomplicator too. So I could totally do that.
I'm not sure I understand what she's describing there. Would you be able to elaborate?
Absolutely. Sometimes people, when they get in a tarot deck, will do an interview spread to
Oh,
find out
that's
what the deck is used for. It's like,
okay.
What's the outcome of our working relationship? How can I best work with you? What are you not good at? And it's an interview spread, Lisa. So I think it's a way to, let me slow down. I'm getting too excited about this. It's
Hey,
a way. Yes, let's sip. It's a way to help understand what skills that this pendulum brings to the relationship, working with you, and what it's good at and what it's not good at, and how the two of you can work well. So
yeah, I think that was the missing link, that I didn't know what an interview for the tarot spread was, but now I do. Yeah.
okay, great. And so, all right, lovely. More people are here, so thank you. I appreciate that. So you worked with Reiki. You've built on your experiences, and so from Reiki, then what happened?
3 years of shamanic energy healing practice.
Okay.
In depth. Yep. I did the wheel a couple of times, and I had an amazing teacher, and we would have retreats. We would be there for 3 days out in the woods, out in the sticks, out on a horse farm, and just communing with Gaia and the spirits, and the water, and it was just fire. And it was just an amazing, amazing experience. It was the best thing, the most frightening thing I had really had to step out of my comfort zone and drive somewhere really far away and be with people I've never met before. I don't know why. I was like, I didn't know if they were going to kidnap me. Like, I just had a lot of fear around being around people I didn't know. But it was, once you get there, obviously they're nice people, but you have these fears built up in your own head. And but it was an amazing, amazing experience, and I carry that with me every day.
I love that. I love that because I think it really does, for people who have had the honor and the privilege and of going through that. It really is transformative, and every single person has their individual experience, and no one's is like the other. And I think that's where all of the power is. I think that's
It
amazing.
is, and that's what really helped me to uncover and reveal, my true authentic self, all of my fears, all of my doubts, all of my, insecurities, all of my, those triggers, those push buttons that the people like to push, and family issues and traumas and, shameful things that I uncovered and peeled away and processed all of these things that we call shadow work, but I was able to do it through this process. And it was, it was, you know, it was not easy, but it was, very well worth it. And yeah, I've just really accelerated my awakening and my awareness, just just at the right time. And that's what happens. We're all being trained. We're all going through training so that we can be the example for the next person.
Uh-huh.
And we don't have to have our face on YouTube in order to be that example.
Right. Yeah. And I think hearing about this, and I appreciate you sharing that personal experience, because it feels like there are people who are watching this playback who need to know that someone else has been through those transformative experiences and are for lack of a better word, are well adjusted. Sorry to disappoint you. I called you well adjusted, Your Highness. But it normalizes it. It makes it okay. It's that growth. It's that movement from caterpillar to butterfly.
Yep.
So, all right,
It's instead of things affecting you, you're the one in the driver's seat. You're the one in control, and not other things or outside things controlling you. And it takes a while. It takes learning. It takes practice and yeah, dedication. And you saw me jump on here and develop my mediumship skills right in front of everybody. I mean, I would sit here with my head down for like 5 minutes waiting waiting for the information to come in. And
yeah.
now that I've been doing it for so long, it gets easier and gets faster. So
Mm-hmm. That's beautiful. And the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients is here. Thank you.
I will be with them on Sunday afternoon, this Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern.
Excellent. Excellent. I love that. Maruda says, I have a chakra, I have a pendulum for every chakra color for use for associated questions. And
Very nice.
I think this is my first question of my pendulum is anyone here?
Oh,
Interesting. Yeah. The Bora Bora, we talked about doing streaming. I like that because it really reaches a whole variety of people. I'm hoping StreamYard will figure out how to blend all of those chat into YouTube. So, okay. Ms. Tarot D said, Jean, I would love to do that, but I was always afraid that I would be kidnapped and sold into to an prince.
Arabic prince. I know, right? I mean, your mind, you're that's the ego telling me not to do it. Don't do it, Jean. You're scared. You're too scared to do it. Don't do it, Jean. Your ego wants to stay in control. Your ego does not want your creative mind to move forward. Your ego wants to control you. These are all the fears. These are all the insecurities. These are all the self deprivating thoughts and feelings that we have. It's all the ego, and it's not true. You don't have to believe every thought that you have.
Yes, that's true. I'm getting some feedback about the saying well adjusted. So my apologies if anybody didn't like that. Get over your bad self. And Viviani has put in, if you're feeling inclined after meeting Jean and learning about some of her experience, there's the way to connect. Oh, and look at that. You're fabulous,
Aw.
Jean. Looking forward to it on Sunday. She's Your Highness. Come on.
Thank you, Priscilla and Heather. Miss you, ladies. So see you soon.
I love it. I love it. It's like, amen. Preach it, Jean. There you go. Thomas, Tarot Your Way is here. Okay, so then moving from all of that beautiful experience, and you've been adding to your skills, then being a medium. And so share with, if you're willing to share some of that, what's going on with that? How'd that happen?
It was during the pandemic, and everybody was going to online classes in droves because we were all stuck at home, and what else to do with our time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we all started watching the YouTube channels, and then the psychics on the YouTube, and then the psychics would hold these classes, and I'm like, I'm in, and I've taken online classes through many different formats before. I have actually taken class with Suzanne Giesman as well. And I'm
Okay.
taking short little seminars with, well, now I can't think what, John Holland. And yeah, and James Van Prague has a couple of them too. And they go over like basics or certain points and stuff,
Mhm.
But it was really the class with Susan Lin and Medium Kim. During it was almost like, all the planets were aligned and you could hear the thunder and the lightning crack, and just boom, it just happened. It just was created. And a lot of the people that were in that class also really accelerated from that class as well. It was amazing. And then the timing of Allie from Heart and Soul Connected to have us offer us, oh yeah, come on to my YouTube channel and you can practice. I'm like, who says come on my channel and practice? She was in the class with us, and she believed, she's like, well, you just need more practice. I
Yeah.
After the class, I had a practice every week, and a lot of people, many people in here were in that practice as well. And I knew that all you had to do was keep doing it. Like it was a muscle. They told me it was a muscle,
Yes.
that it was like a flap to open up and reach spirit and then close. And it's that muscle you really, really do have to practice going
Mhm.
in every day. This is what meditation will do. This is what, just practicing, even if you just practice. I actually, Gerald, I actually began before mediumship with tarot.
Okay.
Don't want to shock everybody. And I love tarot, but I was holding up, like the Queen of Wands, and I was not describing the Queen of Wands. I was reading the person. So I'm like, okay, now it's just time to put this down.
Well, and people who have, if they followed my channel, medium Betsy Palm and I did a laugh and learn about mediumship and being a medium, and there's lots of ways to do that. And for me, I don't call myself a medium or a channel. And if Purple Elephant Deb H is here, she's probably going to go, you are a channel, you are a medium, leave it alone. Um, but and for me, it's a gateway, it's a key,
Yeah.
it's something that unlocks. And you've seen me do it, where I'm pulling these cards and I'm like, well, this isn't what these cards mean, but it gives me that comfort level. It's my binky, it's my blanket that makes me comfortable. So,
What it does, in my opinion, if you don't mind me saying, from watching you, it it allows you to go into that creative side. When you look at the
mm,
picture and you see it's a creative process by looking at a picture, at a drawing, and the words. It's and you have to go into your creative side with the picture, and as soon as you open that, messages come in, and also around the picture. And spirit also has us pull the exact card that is necessary, and to trust
absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. And that I also imagine, Your Highness Jean, that having that chance to practice, it's a great way to get feedback. It's
Oh
it's
yeah.
that way of it's and I know, if for those of you who have gone over to Jean's channel, and I know you're cool, so you know you'll do that. But it's part of it is that confirmation, it's that energy, and you request people when they're with you and they're watching to be present, because it helps in that feedback. Because and I know you've said this, and I know Terry has said this, and lots of the other readers that you work with, It's just like, yeah, somebody who's open, there's going to be lots of people who want to talk to you. And it's like, okay, got to narrow it down. Betsy is always saying, it's like, okay, I've got lots of Marys in,
Exactly.
access to, so help me with that. So, all right. I went on I went on a ramble there. So, and, okay. So Sherry said, that's my issue right now, learning to control the flap. Right now it opens and closes on its own. I'm not able to really control it yet. And it's like it's a muscle. It's really a muscle. Thank
That
you.
would happen to me too. It was what I would get messages and downloads and unsolicited. And one time when I was waking up one morning, and it was like a Saturday or a Sunday, and I heard somebody say, "I was the man who died last night." And I'm looking around, and my husband's already up and in the kitchen, and I feel like there's this energy outside of my bedroom window. And I told my husband, and he's like, yeah, you're probably just dreaming or something. And then a few weeks later, a few houses up the road, they're like, have this big dumpster out front, and they're cleaning out the old man's house who lived
Oh,
there and had just recently died. And I hadn't solicited that. So things like that would happen to me a lot without me asking for it. But
mhm.
it's rare. I mean, my guides talk to me all the time about my process and what to do, and I know how to listen to that, but it's not really too much with other people with souls who have crossed over. Now, I
Mhm.
do have pets that are always in my energy. Not always, but
Uh-huh.
often they're in my energy, and they present themselves like really cute and perched or laying down on their paws, or doing something really cute, and I just see all these images of different pets, and I know they've crossed over and they're just coming to visit me.
I I I I think that's great. And but it could also be a bit overwhelming. And it's part of it is like going, okay, here's some boundaries. You can't bother me between, from 11 p.m. to 6 a.m. That is my time to sleep and to work with my guides. So, um,
It seems to happen when I'm relaxed, or when I'm either cooking or doing a mundane task or chore or driving or something. It's
mhm.
not really, it doesn't come in here, and it's I think there are boundaries there that they respect as well.
And I okay, and my guides that I work with, they like it when I'm going to say respectfully push back,
Sure.
and because it's like, okay, they're giving me an opportunity to stretch myself, and if I understand and I set a boundary for myself, they
Right.
are going to respect that because they're going, good on you, good for you, you're not up to doing that, you said it and you stuck with it. So that's really powerful. All right. And I have to make certain my crown chakra closes after I get rid of my negative thoughts releasing during meditation. Nature abhors a vacuum. And so I'm always, a big thing in my practice is, if you remove something, you need to fill it with something else. And oh, and I have a stash tag for that. Here, science is real, magic is real. Magic and science, pretty much the same thing. You're just talking about it differently. So, um,
Absolutely.
yeah. Oh, and Andrea said, yes, Jean, the good old days. I teased Allie when she was the Julie of Love Boat fame in the early days. And you know what? I think it sounds like that class that you were in was a great blend of people to be supportive and to be perfect for each other, because each of you have different strengths.
Yeah,
So,
it was definitely divinely orchestrated, and I think that all of us, it was the energy. It was that we were all inside. It was that we were quiet and had the time to focus on it. It was the time when, there was so much uncertainty and we needed hope. We needed something to hang on to. And we needed, it really was, I could not have dreamt it up or created or made it up any better.
And I actually think I met you on Allie's channel with meeting with the mediums or something like that. That may have been when I first met you. And holy mackerel, people. I love that. I love it.
Yeah.
Here, here. Magic is science. Science is magic. Yep. And what was magic 100 years ago is now common everyday science.
Wow.
And what was in Star Trek is now on the street corners. It's like incredible.
Yeah. Two sides of the same coin, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perspective. You know that cartoon or that meme where the one guy's looking at a 9 and the other guy's looking at a 6, and it's the perspective. They're
Yep.
both right. Yeah.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. So what's I mean, do you have it? I know you are enjoying being with your strength as a medium, and I'm going to say your strength as a medium. I'm heaping praise in your general direction, Jean. So avert your gaze, look away, gird your loins. I think it's one of those things that when that energy, like energy begats like energy. So do you have any thoughts about what might be next?
Well, actually, with that comment, what came up is in that class we learned our clairs. In that class we learned psychic uh, tools as well, or psychic practice, or psychic uh, practice as well. And we also learned mediumship. And, I can kind of read your energy. I can kind of read, if you lost something, I can kind of read, where the, whatever. That the anything that's here on this earth plane is okay. Actually, I can read your spirit guides. The spirit guides came through so much easier and clearer. And mediumship is one of the hardest things I had to crack and conquer. When you're dealing with mediumship, you're actually dealing with individual souls with personalities,
Mhm.
and they have preferences, they have emotions, or they have like personalities and preferences and different ways of doing things. And I had somebody like stand like this and say, I'm not talking to her. I could see him, and and his hands were closed, or his arms were folded. And I said, it was this woman's brother-in-law. I said, your brother-in-law is here. I said, but he does not want to talk to me. So I had my spirit guide, and I asked my father, who's in the spirit world, I asked him to go over there and tell him, explain to him that it's his sister-in-law and his brother is here, but his sister-in-law is asking through me, would he like to share and come through me in order to give them a message? And they kind of chatted. It's like for 2 seconds, and then he's like, okay, and he came around and started sharing the message through me. But he was absolutely not.
Yeah.
Another time, I had a guy sitting. I see the souls sitting in a stadium, like a ball field. The stadium where you have to push the seat down in order to sit in the seat in the ball
Yes.
stadium. They're all in a ball stadium as when I'm doing my shows. And the one lady wanted to talk to her father. And I was like kind of scanning energy. And you usually pop up and run down like, let's make a deal or something, but nobody was coming forward, and they always come forward. And so I went up there and I looked around and I kept asking. I said, Bill, are you here? Bill, are you here? And I went down. You know how they have, I don't know what those little hallways or those little tunnels in the ball stadium. And in that little tunnel, this guy was sitting there, and he was sitting in a cross-legged position, and he was like meditating. And I said, Bill, I said, your daughter's here. She wants to talk to you. And he was like, I can't right now. I can't right now. He wanted to be, he was, I mean, how can you, there's just no way. He did, He did talk to me telepathically, but he would not break his
Mhm.
meditation.
Wow. Wow. Medium Betsy Palmer said it's full-fledged conversation going on out there, not different from 3D. Yeah, yeah. And Ms. Tarot D actually talked about, as you were sharing earlier, it was brave of Eugene for doing the work. I think it's so interesting. So this is lots of experiences have led up to the last 2 years, which is where you have gotten to where you're now leaning into it. You're doing readings online. People can contact you. You're doing shows, which is really amazing. Um, I think that's wonderful. And oh, Pamela asked, what's the difference between claircognizance and clarity? Um,
Claircognizance is a knowing, I would say. But it's not that different. It's not that different, but it's clarity is more like a perspective, like you see it clearly now. But a claircognizant would be a information or an idea,
mhm,
um, and not a viewpoint. It would be a subject or a lesson or a something that you hadn't considered before. Where clarity, I think, is just a different perspective or a new perspective, or like an aha moment would be a clarity. That's what I think.
and I would also say, oh, and Betsy popped in. Claircognizance is a way information is received. Clarity is clear of mind. And for me, clarity is a learned skill, especially working with the other clair senses. Because how do I explain this? And I don't know about you, Jean. Sometimes the information that I get if I'm speaking with somebody is it's not in English, and sometimes I have to translate it.
What,
um,
what language is it in?
I don't know. It's just not because that sounds so cheap and easy. And I'm going to distract myself and say, um, bye, Ms. Parody. Enjoy taking the dog out. Um,
Bye.
and I think it's so for me, because it's claircognizance. It's now I'm like, how do I get all of this download out in a few sentences that are going to make sense to the person that is receiving it?
It's not it's not language, it's a concept. It's like a whole
Yep.
it's a whole
Yep.
chapter sometimes.
Oh yeah, and yeah, it's removing self, opinions, judgment, and mind-altering consumables, things that just make it cloudy, make us cloudy. Because for those of you who are watching this, I thank you. And when we're doing any type of our work, magical readings, whatever, um, it's for me it's easier to help to tell someone else a message than for me to get to read myself. And that's something that I've been working with. And um, I've learned over my life to actually stop talking so much, and to take a breath, and to wait for a minute, because sometimes my physical body needs to catch up with the psychic bodies.
Mm,
I don't know if that makes any sense. So,
mhm,
um, Deb H said, I know someone who understands and speaks languages when she's very tired and her brain is disengaged,
mhm.
whereas normally she is not linguistically prolific.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's past life bleeding through if I ever heard it.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. And that actually really goes back to that. I'm an overcomplicator. Hi, my name's Gerald. I'm an overcomplicator. I couldn't use a pendulum for a long time because I was watching the pendulum and
Mm.
it wasn't doing anything. And so my high priestess, when she was teaching me, she actually said, she said, okay, now look at me. And, what was the question you were asking? And as soon as I looked away from it and I drew my attention away, it was answering the question. So,
Right. Absolutely.
and Betsy says, I'll say out loud, is this making any sense? I'm having trouble verbalizing the information. And yes, sometimes the download is big. And Callie Healer said, I'm a medium in progress. Good for you. Boom.
Excellent, Kelly Healer. Good for
Here,
you. But
let me say
they need all of us.
yes, let me say it this way. Good for you, Callie Healer. You've shown up. Boom.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I say I could tell my progression, and I say that sometimes when information comes in, it's like a drip out of a faucet, and it's only little drips and little bits, and you're like, "What was that? What was that? Was that what?" And you trying to like grab onto it, and it's just a little bit, and then other times it's like a fire hose, and it just starts coming out, and it's like a constant flow, and
Yeah.
you just keep talking, and then when you're done, you're like, "What was that?"
Yeah. It's like, whoa, that was. And Maruda shared, it seems to me that clarity is just understanding the information you have learned through your normal senses. Clairsentience is knowing something without learning it conventionally.
Yeah.
Yep. And Betsy said, it seems like the guides and querent appreciate knowing the reader is human and does need a bit of help. Yeah. Yeah. So, drinking from a fire hose, sometimes this happens, especially when timing is right and the mood and the crystals and the mood is just like, okay, I'm ready. What is it that you do, Jean, to help you come back to the 3D world? Some people might call it grounding. How do you turn off that medium ship aspect?
That's I think drinking water and let me see. My husband really is very grounding.
Mhm.
Um, and I talk to my family. I get to kind of I don't really have a big transition other than my routine with cleaning up, closing my books, turning off the lights, shutting the candles, putting the crystals away, that kind of a thing might is sort of just the process that I use. But yeah, right away, my husband's right there to bring me right back to life mode.
Well, and that's beautiful, and I agree with you. The ritual of closing things down
Mhm.
just slows everything down and says, okay, we're done, we're done, we're done, and scene, we're back.
Yeah.
So that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. We have been on for a glorious hour and 13 minutes. It's hard to believe. I have two quick questions. One, what are you reading or listening to currently? And it
Mm.
can be anything. I'm just curious about if you're reading or listening to anything. So that's the first question.
My latest fascination has been Vedic astrology. Astrology in general, I had Val from Illumination Portal on my channel the other day, and
Mhm.
just astrology, astrology, astrology. It feels like I can't get enough. And this new age in Aquarius is really intriguing me. And the energies and the changes in the energies is so important right now. We're going through a time that we've never gone before, and it's just going to be so important to be aware of what's going on in the cosmos within our own lives, and we're going to feel the energies more and more, I believe, as the frequency and the vibrations increase as well. So Vedic astrology has really been something that I'm diving deep into right now, which is it's you would think you're a medium. Why do you want but I know a lot of astrologers that do mediumship. So Why can't a medium do, I mean, and it's not like I'm going to be an astrologer. It's just, it's really important to be aware. And I find myself relating to it a lot, and it helps with readings as well.
And I think that's the key thing is if it helps you, then great. I mean, everything you've shared, it's one thing has led you to another, has led you to another. It's just, it's helped to broaden and expand. So, yeah, that's incredible. Astrology is one of those things that has been on my, what am I focusing on for the year for the last 2 years, and
Oh.
actually last 3 years, and it hasn't made it to the top of the list. So
Hmm.
thank you, Callie Healer and White Wolf. And Vedic astrology is very, very cool. It's so great for timing. Yeah.
Hmm.
And Valerie S. has said, wow, Your Highness, astrology is fascinating to me as well. Can't wait until you share more about that. Yes. And, okay. Okay. So the last thing that I'm curious about, Your Highness, is what is bringing you joy these days?
It's definitely helping people, and being in the community, and being of service, and yeah, it's just the reaction that people have, and the wonder, the satisfaction. I had this one woman. I did a show. I did a psychic fair, and during the psychic fair, I do reading the room, and in the room, about 40 people. And there was this one woman, and she had a walker with her. It was kind of like the one's own wheels, but she was, she still had to hang on, the one with the brakes and stuff.
Sure.
And she was sitting there, and she asked a question, and she was sitting maybe like 2/3 of the way back in the room, and she wanted to talk to her fiance. And she was maybe in her late 70s, early 80s, and she wanted to talk to her fiance. And I said, "Oh," I said, "How long ago did he pass?" And she said, like, 28, 30 years ago. I was like, whoa.
Oh,
So his name was Richard, and I brought him through, and she was she was almost like she had a new sense of life again. She said, and when he came through, he said that he'll be waiting for her, and that he loved her. And he gave all the details about what happened, how they met, and what was going on in their lives. And she said, I could feel him in the room. I knew that was him. And what you said, everything you said was true. And she came over to me, and she hugged me, and she said, I knew it. She goes, I can feel him. She said, thank you so much. It was almost like I gave her, or not I, the spirit, that the fiance, Richard. He said, my only regret is that we didn't marry before he, died suddenly. But and for that many years to wonder, to wonder, to wonder, to wonder, and then boom, validation, validation, validation. She was like, I knew it, but like it's almost like something just went, oh, in her, that she was like, oh, this is real, this is right. I do feel him, and see him in, and he is promising me this. And it just gave her such peace of mind, such peace of mind. And that is where I find the joy.
yeah. Oh, that's incredible. And I have to agree with Jamie, Wandering Mountain Barter Path. Being of service is awesome. And I think that's amazing. And Callie Healer said, what an amazing gift you gave her. And I have to say, Amanda Carroll's like this. That is wonderful. I added the fan twerp. I had to, Amanda.
It was really very special. The whole show, that the very last, I mean, in each show, each one is better than the next, but it was a powerful day. And yeah, she was a beautiful soul. And and to have, I always wondered, there's a lot mm, of our age group here doing all this. I'm like, where were you guys 30 years ago? Like, no, everybody was still hiding and not saying
Mhm.
anything. And if so many people of our age are coming out and saying, yeah, I'm psychic, I've been doing this. And I'm like, where were you 30 years ago when I needed you to show me?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh my gosh. Well, and I think it's, you know, we're aging appropriately, like a fine vintage or a good scotch or something. Tom or from Early Ritual is here. Hi, sorry I'm late. Can you start over from the beginning? Yes, we will do that. We'll do that right after we're done. And you know, you can do that. And Deb H said I was pretending not to hear my guides. Yeah, that how'd that work out for you, Deb? Andrea said connecting dots, knitting into perspective enhances skills, validates while lifting spirits on multi levels. Yeah. And but I think that's it's so true. It's so true. So you're welcome, Tom. I'm here to help. I'm here to help. So okay, so this has been okay, see I have so many stash tags out. SunPsychic Jean, link below to her channel if you want to see her in action. You can visit her website, do all of the YouTube things, like and subscribe. And next Sunday, you were with the
At the
Crone.
Crone Zone. I'll
Uh-huh.
be with Allie for Heart and Soul Connected earlier on Sunday at 1 p.m. And then after Allie's show, I'll be on the Crone Zone with Priscilla and Heather, and that'll be at 3 p.m.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. So,
It's fun.
oh, and I have this has the you know, the Crone Zone Conversations with the Ancients seal of approval. You know, they should see Miss TarotStache use the fan and give readings. She has an attitude. So
Wonderful. We would love to see that. We would love to see that.
there you go.
Wow.
So thank you everyone for being here. Next week, next Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, Jamie and I, Wandering Mountain Bark Path, are doing a back and forth with Jamie and Gerald. I am going out of town for a quilting retreat, so it should be fun to see how that goes.
Yeah, send
And
us pictures or post the pictures when you get back. We'd love to see all the fun.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that maybe on Tuesday you'll be able to see some of the stuff I've been working on. Hi Sheila, good to see you. And they have, of course they have. So, here you go. So all right, everybody. We're going to finish up because I have had the pleasure of Jean's company for an hour and 23 minutes. So thank you so very much. You are...
Thank you, Gerald. I really enjoyed being here. You're a wonderful interviewer and you're amazing content provider. We love your style, your wit, your charm, and your expertise. You're so multi-talented. I'm honored that you asked me to come, and I love reading together. So you'll be back.
Yes, yes, I love that, and thank you. I look forward to coming back, and so everyone take care. We're going to do the outro video, and everybody, thank you so very much. You take care.
Bye, everybody. Thanks
Bye.
again.